Now that we have the game manager in our main menu, we're going to go through the process of setting up a new game button and the ability to load existing games. First though, let's create the new game button so that we have a UI element that we can hook up to this game manager to kick off a new game, and then we'll dive into how we're going to structure that data. So to start, I'm in my menu scene. I'm going to take my canvas and rename this to level select canvas, because that's what it's covering right now, is a background and some level select stuff. I'm going to rename the image to background, and then I'm going to select the level select canvas, so just click on it, and duplicate it with Control D. I'm going to select the initial one, the first one that I had, and just disable it, so now I've got this new one here that's just an exact copy of the previous one. I'm going to rename this to New Game Canvas, and then we'll expand it out. I want to move this level 1 button, or just recreate it and make it into a new game button, and I'm going to delete the level 2 button. So I'm going to go to level 2, delete that, rename this level 1 button to new game button, and then I want to center it let's just do it right in the middle of the screen for now. And let's make it twice as tall because I want it to be pretty big, and then let's change the text to say new game. Now we could, of course, just go in and recreate this manually, but I find it a lot easier to just duplicate and go through the process and speed this thing up. Or, well, just not go through and manually recreate all of the buttons every time. Let's adjust the max size here. I'm going to put this down to about 150 so that it fits in there pretty good. I've got my new game button, and I think I want to just drag this up just a little bit. Actually, let's dock this to the top here. Alt. Oh, sorry. Got the wrong object selected. We'll go grab the button, and I'll just grab the position Y. Let's just drag it up here. I'm going to put it right above that little guy's head. You can put it wherever you want on your screen. I just didn't want it covering up this guy's head. So we've got our new game button here, and it has a load level button script. I'm going to remove that component, and we're going to add a new script that'll be a new game button. So we'll right click in our scripts folder. Here I've got the scripts folder selected. Right click, create a new C# script. Let's call this new game button. Again, no spaces, capital N, G, and B, because we're using our Pascal case for class. We'll open up that new game button. Oh, that didn't open it. Oh, there it goes. It opened up. And in our new game button, what we're going to do is first delete the update method, and then we're going to register for our button click. And on a button click, we'll tell our game manager to fire off a new game, essentially. And there are two ways that we can do this. The first way is, let's create a public void method named start, or let's call this create new game. I like that better. I don't want to have the word start in there. And then in here, we can call game manager dot instance dot new game. Now the dot instance exists, but new game does not exist on our game manager. So we'll click on it, hit Alt Enter, and generate it. We don't need it to do anything yet. We just needed this to be our hookup for it. Know that, hey, somewhere in that game manager, in this new game method, we'll create the new game. We'll deal with how we do that later. For now, let's deal with hooking it up. So I'm going to save. We'll save our game manager script as well. In fact, let's go down to that new game method here and write out a log. We'll say debug .log new game called, just so that we know that, hey, new game was called. I'm going to make this public as well, just because I don't like the internal keyword. And I'm going to get rid of this private keyword too, because I just realized it was there and I don't need it. Again, the private keyword is the default, so it's kind of redundant to have it there. Let's go back to the new game button. So we've got this create new game method here, and we need to hook this up in the editor. Let me show you two different ways that we can do this though, because I think that it's important that you understand that there's one way to do it, and then there's a completely different way to do it that you're gonna see many, many times that might also sometimes be better. So let's go into Unity. We'll go find our new game button. We'll add the new game button component to it. Look, that was already searched for. And then in my button script here, if I expand that out, that's the one that was created automatically when I made a button. We have this on click. And right now it's got an actual value in here that's missing. If I hit minus, that'll go away and it'll say the list is empty. The reason that that was missing is because it's referencing an object that's not there anymore. So what we'll do is hit plus. And then I can take my new game button and drag that right in here. Technically, it doesn't actually matter. I could drag in this button or anything else. It's really just referencing the game object. It's referencing this specific thing when you drag that in. Any component will do that. Because then when you hit the no function button, you'll get the pop-up of all of the components. So there's the game object, the rect transform, which is the thing way up the top, the canvas renderer, the image, and the button, and this new game button. All of them have things that we can access. Like I could turn off the game object. I could game object and say set active and set it to false. Then when I clicked, it would just turn this game button off. Let's do that real quick. Let's just hit play, disable this button, and watch that happen. Any second now. There we go. The button turns off. Not what I want to do, though, but I can register again anything. What I want to register instead is new game button and choose the create new game, which was just off screen, of course. So let's go try that one more time. So new game button and create new game. Now this will call the create new game method. Let's try it out. Any second. Load it up, load it up. We should see it in our console log when I click it. New game called. That worked great. So now I want to show you the other way that you can register this so that you don't have to go into the UI and hook these things up kind of more manually, the way that you can do it from code. So I'm going to remove this registration. We're going to go into the new game button script, and inside of the start, we're going to say get component, and we're going to get, oops, I spelled that wrong. We'll get the button component, and if that doesn't auto add the using Unity engine.ui up at the top, you'll need to go up there and add that or hit Alt and turn on it. It just kind of auto added it as soon as I typed it. You might have noticed that. And we want on this button to add a listener to the on click event. So it has an on click here. We type ON with a lowercase o, and then do a dot, and we can do add listener. What this will do is allow us to pass in a method that we want to be called whenever they click, just like if we did it in the inspector. So here I just put in the name of my method, create new game, and add the semicolon. Oh, I've got to put a W in new. There we go, put a semicolon in, save, Control-Shift-B, do another build, and now if I jump into Unity, I'm going to get the exact same behavior, but now I don't have to write in these on clicks. I find that this is really handy if you have a script that's specific for like a button or something else that needs to use a button and is going to register for this so that you don't have to go through that extra process of hooking it up, and you don't have to worry about going in and checking it later if that registration gets somehow removed by a designer that's doing something else. Plus, it's important to note that they can still add in extra clicks here. So I can click and get that new game called, but I can also have my designers go add something in here, like maybe they let's say that when they click it, I'll do something stupid like change the text color. They select the text, and let's find our color. Where's that at here? There's so many things here. We'll just find let's find the alpha. There we go. And we'll set the alpha to, well, maybe 100. So we click. Yeah, let's go to, there we go. It's 0 to 1. So we got a 0.5 or a 0.1. There we go. The text alpha went down to 0.1. Or you can set it up to a 31, which is just going to be a 1. So you can kind of get the idea. We can add in extra things here without having to worry about them breaking the functionality of that new game button. All right, so now that we've got our new game button in, let's save our scene, go into plastic and say that we've added that, and we'll get ready to modify our data structure next. So added a new game button to main menu and hooked up in code. We'll check that in.